The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about changes on the world stage that we have never seen before in our lifetime. Dominica is no exception. On March 22, 2020, the first case of COVID-19 was reported in Dominica. Since then, a state of emergency has been implemented with nightly curfews and weekend lockdowns. The Government Information Service journeyed to La Roche in Delis, where we meet Gasper and Christine Darroue for a story of love, spirituality, and recovery.
In December 2019, China notified the World Health Organization of several cases of human respiratory illness, a disease later named COVID-19. The virus causing this disease is known as Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. The disease spreads through small droplets that are expelled from the nose or mouth when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales. Therefore, standing close to someone who is infected can put you at risk.
In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher. WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
The Ministry of Health advises the public that Dominica has recorded its first case of COVID-19 today, March 22nd, 2020. The patient is a 54-year-old male Dominican citizen who recently returned to Dominica from the United Kingdom. The total confirmed COVID-19 cases remain at 16. The total active cases remain at 2. The total recovered cases 14. Total COVID-related deaths 0. Number of persons tested 417. The number of negative results 401. Number of contacts identified 152. The number of contacts cleared 152. The number of contacts under investigation 0. And the number of persons in the quarantine facility in Portsmouth remains at 15.
Gasper Darroue is a chap born in 57, son of Mr. Howard Darroue and Helena Baron. Grew up in 57 and left 57, go various parts of the island. When he was 20, he left to go to England and arrived in England with a battered suitcase and an old pair of shoes and a straw hat. He made up his way to Brixton, one of the roughest places in England. Spent 5 months in Brixton, moved to the country, a little town called Slough, find employment there good. But before that, he have found his prize winning nice lady. Ask her to marry her. The lady wanted to marry, but he said he couldn't because he had no money. He had £1 in the bank. The lady must have loved her very much. She accepted, and we married 2 years later, and worked 40 years in England. 50 years of it as a warder to the General Hospital, Wexham Park, and come back to Dominica, 2001. Find Dominica very pleasant, very nicely. People receive him very nice, and he settled in La Roche, where his special lady was born and grew up. And he just grew his little things around the house at the moment. They are not too well because he hasn't been well himself. But he grows, he doesn't sell much. He just gives it to people. And the young boys, before they go college, they were selling it and making their little money. And he enjoyed that. And this is Gasper Darroue in front of you.
Okay. So tell us, how long have you lived here? Since 2001?
2001, that's
Okay.
19 years.
All right. Have you enjoyed the community?
Yeah, very, very, very nicely.
Okay. How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm 79.
79 years old. So you retired at 60,
60 years, yeah.
And you moved back to Dominica.
Yes.
And you made your home in your wife's village.
Yes.
Okay. You have children?
Yeah, I have 3 children, 3 sons in England.
And they're all in England.
In
They were all
England.
born up there, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Grands?
2 grands
Okay.
and 2 great-grands.
Okay. So here it's just you and your wife.
Yes.
All right. Good. So now you mentioned that you're not well.
No, I had a scare of prostate cancer about 4 years ago, and I had to go back to England to the same hospital I used to look after sick people. They look after me very well, but I ended up on the bed instead of pushing the bed. And I came back, and I just come back in January from checkup. It's quite good. It was quite good. I was minus 0.3.
Okay.
It's quite good. My
So which
PSC.
is okay. So which is quite good for
Quite
you.
good,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're a cancer survivor.
Yes, yes.
All right. Good. Let's talk COVID-19. Did you hear about this before?
Yeah, when I left England in January, it was all mentioning, but I didn't thought it would get to Dominica because we have to stay in Antigua for so long to catch the yet. Or with COVID-19, didn't lose patience and go back to England or Canada. It comes to Dominica.
So you're at home.
Yes.
How did you find out that COVID-19 is on your doorstep?
Well, I find out when my sister-in-law rang me and told me her son is tested positive, and her son spent a few hours with me here the Friday before that or a week before. So she said they will come and test me. So by Monday they come and test me, and Tuesday they come back with the test. I'm positive, both me and the wife. So to ask me how we feel, I can't describe it, but we are both old-fashioned Catholic who believe in the cross, that making the sign of the cross will give us all support we need up to today. Both of us had to rely on that cross with Jesus crucified and pack up what we got and leave everything behind and go down to quarantine.
So were you taken from your home to quarantine?
Yes, by ambulance.
Okay. How did you feel? What was going through your mind in all of this?
I don't know how my wife feels and the other people, but you see, I don't do many things on the phone. I can talk. I talk all the way to Portsmouth, 4 hours non-stop talking. I give stories of every little village we pass, such as Maho. I gave them the story of Neg Mahon in Maho, Belfast, where Admiral Rodney found ram to give his people in the Battle of Trafalgar to capture Dominica for England. I give stories of all those things. They fall asleep, they keep waking up, I'm still giving stories.
Was that a way of coping?
Yeah, it's the way I can cope. Either listen to music or talk.
Okay. So your nephew was the one who...
No, my wife's nephew.
Your wife's nephew
Yes,
was the one who passed this
yeah.
thing on to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Did you feel... Were you afraid at any point?
Yeah, you have to be afraid because nobody wants to die. As much as we all got to die, nobody wants to die. But at the same time, there was feelings inside of me feeling good, because I'm a man, I live good, I live a good life. And I'm very grateful to Jesus for bringing me in this world and look after me so far. From Dominica to go to school in Dominica, no education, England, cope with England, and come back. So Jesus had helped me so much. I had reason to believe that that day he will not turn his back on me. He will be there with us. I told the wife, he is with us. We need him, we're going to call him. And I don't have bitterness on anybody to say if I die, what am I? No, I don't live this sort of life. I live a life freely given, freely accepted, and I only live on what I got. Even my nephew, I never had any brother. I say, well, that is it. Poor chap had come all the way from London to give uncle a hug, and that hug. But what can we do? So up to now, if I see him, it's the same thing, same feeling. So by this we carry on. It carries us through, me and the wife. It carries us through. Although I'm diabetic, I'm hypotensive, she's the same, and that carries us through. We were able to.
But you were high risk.
High risk, yeah, high risk. Everything.
Did you experience any symptoms, fever?
No, nothing at all. No, nothing. We never, none of us.
So tell us about your 2 weeks in there.
Well, it started. There wasn't really 100% ready, so we had to accept makeshift. Food was late coming. The following day I went to Nose and said, food, the ponos, they are so nice. I can never finish looking at them. I can see them in my eyes now. So wonderful, good. One went to her place, sent for her place, what he had for breakfast, 4 slices of brown bread and 1 Sprite. She gave it to me. And me and the wife started eating it, but we remember the others. There was 2 slices left and I had the bread. I bring it for them now and say, take it quick, you know. This corridor was long, I would have eat it, so take it. They grab it, but we survive. After that, food started coming. And for under stress in this situation, and I work in hospital, I have an idea what's going on inside. Like I said on the first interview, we got some wonderful medical stuff in Dominica. For a small place like Dominica, we have some God-blessing people. We don't see it. Probably when we are sick, it's too late. But people in Dominica should stand high above, in line with the world, to know we got stuff that can look after people. But I always know, as a child, Dominican people are nice people. Because I once tell a preacher man, he was trying to preach, I said, look, why you bother preach gospel for me? I'm a Dominican. He said, what's that? I said, all Dominican have passed their test to go to heaven. When Jesus come to judge, he just opened the gate. You Dominica, go in, go in, go in. And he laughed. So I know that. And the staff, I tell you, they're fantastic. I don't remember their names because when I was younger, I remember girls' names, but at that age, you don't remember. But they are so nice, you know. Some of them, you know, I can see them. And I recommend them anywhere in the world to work in the highest level, any hospital.
So at no time you had problems breathing, you had fever, you know? You
No,
were
I was normal.
what they call asymptomatic.
No, we were normal all the time.
Both you and your wife.
Yeah, we were normal all the time.
How did you pass the time in quarantine?
Well, I used to walk the corridor. Every now and then go that way back to keep me motivated. Then they brought some new patient. I was able to use only half the corridor. And chat a bit in the corridor, blah, 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 sit down. I have my iPod, which I got old-fashioned music on it. I'm an old-fashioned music man. I'm a Jim Reeves, Patsy Cline, Charlie Pride, all those classic people who gave us good songs in the past. And I got over 1,000 different tracks my son put on it. So I listen, but it's not nice listening to music, the wife sitting there.
Yes.
So we keep talking, and it was all right at the end of the day. Not all right, but we had to make up, and we were well looked after. And the staff was nice. That helped a lot whenever they come, you know. They have to do their work, but they treat you as a friend, as a family. sometimes you don't think you are a quarantine, you think you are free outside, you know. So that helped a lot.
Did you ever think, why me? Why this happened to me?
Well, that's a good question, because why me? But at the same time, when death comes on us, it's too late to say why me. I never thought that. I just thought, tell the wife, it happened. It happened for a cause. God does not do his things for nothing. God does his things for a cause. So what is happening, I tell my wife, in the whole world, not only me and you, this cause is common the world to help us to get back more close to each other. Like our grandparents show us how to go close. In the old days in Dominica, you know how close houses were with one another. You got to wait in the morning when they light their fire to get a fire stick to light yours. So we keep drifting away because we got so much luxury and we are still complaining. But God does his thing his way. So go back closer, look, I am in charge. So all this, I am no preacher man, like I said, I am no Christian. I'm just an old-fashioned Catholic. If you ask me what's an old-fashioned Catholic, in England, he will tell you an old-fashioned Catholic is a man who goes to church 3 times. When he baptized, when he married, and when he died. But I know the world was getting too far away from God. And it's like me and my wife. I know we are very close, we're always close, but we are much closer now after that. And I just spoke to my sister-in-law this morning, that's Timothy's mother. And I said, when all this finish, we'll be closer with one another. We never far away, me and them. But I say this will bring us closer, and tell Tim, get strength when the time comes, he can fly back to England. Because you got to give them encouragement, you know. So that's the way I look at it. And if I have to die that way, it's a death. Nobody like dying, like I said. But death got to come one day. As much we don't like to die, someday we got to die. And between me and you, I would like to die happy. I don't know why. Because I love Jesus so a lot. And I believe I'll go to Jesus when I die. And I believe Jesus is a pretty looking man. I do not want to look sad when I die to go looking miserable in front of him.
The doctor tells you, look, you're going home,
Yes.
you're cured.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Oh, this one is a good one. I feel like Moses when he drowned the Pharaoh Bamiami in the Red Sea and take the Israelites to the promised land. That's how I feel, like Moses.
Was it you and your wife to go home together?
Yeah.
So tell us about, you told us about the journey going.
Yeah.
Tell us about the journey going, coming back.
The journey going back. It wasn't me alone to talk alone. All the others was talking as well. They find jokes to give. They find, oh, Darroue, tell us about that village. I said, did you hear it when we were going down? Yeah, so we going back was good. And we came back. I told them, look, fellas, when we come back, we might find 1 or 2 people giving us, just like England when black people arrived in the 60s. You see everybody calling people better, blah, blah, blah. But so far, I never get anything. All I get, people call me hello, smile. But one day, someday, you'll find somebody there. Oh, I prepare them for that. I say, this is what happening. I left England, 40 years in England. I'm looking after a sick patient. He's still calling me black. I would say, all those years you don't know a black, but yet, darling. So, you know, this is how it is. But we are all right. Some people, there's a family especially, I like to mention. He's my wife's cousin, Mr. James. His wife is an ex-nurse. He and his children, they always come here and make sure we are all right. You know, they stay outside, they bring things and the bread, whatever we need. I haven't gone to thank them because we are very close, me and them, because my wife's cousin. So this family, Wolf mentioned, they look after us well. And everybody look after us, you know, including him, the rum drinker. No rum today, friend. You get later. My friend, don't worry.
But you know, when you came back, your first night at home, how did you feel?
Feel good you are at home, but it's still shaky because don't forget, it's a lot of drugs. And I just been under heavy sedation in England. And also we are high risk. But it seems, you know, with my marriage, I don't know for every man whether you're married as well. With my marriage, it is true that God take a rib from a man to give a woman one rib more because she's more strong. She's stronger than me all the time. So maybe that extra ribs God took from me to give her make her stronger. Forgive me.
What would you like to tell people about your experience?
What I would like to tell people is, while we got the chance, get closer to Jesus. Don't wait when it happens to be calling Jesus and you don't know how to call him. I'm not saying that everybody should go to church every Sunday, but I'm saying more people should make it a habit to get together and pray together and try to understand one another before it happens. Because when it happens, you will need to understand one another. Because that is the reason why it's there, is for us to understand one another more. And try to love more, and try to take our choice on worldly things, and think of the spiritual things more, which is we need more. Because at that time, like they take me away there, everything I work for, my children 5,000 miles away, everything was left behind. And I could die any time. That wasn't in my mind what am I gonna live. It's where I'm going that was on my mind. Did I had anything with anybody? I haven't, no. Did I take somebody goat up the hill? No.
Did you?
No, I never do those things. So really, this is what we need, to have a clean mind, a good heart, a loving, kind heart. It is not difficult to get because you don't have to buy those things. Those things are freely given by the Lord Jesus Christ. He died giving it to us. People who can pray can get all this goodness without going to a Stefan or a Sif. You see, you don't have to be online to find Jesus. You don't need a phone number to call Jesus. He's there for everybody, and he's not my Jesus, he's not just, he's everybody. So I think people should find him before it's too late. And if that happens, they will find extra strength like I did in Jesus, and they'll be able to support it and their loved ones and people around them. Because some of them down there are younger than me. I had to be with them a lot. Whenever matters was arising, they go in had to. So, you see, these are the things we need to have in this world. I mean, nobody is holy. I never live holy. I mean, I'm not holy now, but we have to know he's there. Somehow we got to know he's there before our hands cannot knock the door again. You got to knock the door while you got the arm. But this is what I'm asking. I'm no preacher man. I told you, old-fashioned Catholic. But I think the world will survive. We'll be happy again. But it's going to take quite a while before we forget this experience, especially people like me. Yes. And I love God more. No, I love Jesus more.
How did you tell your children?
Oh, I phoned them and it was heartbreaking. One is in Dubai. They phoned him and he was calling every day, poor chap. Every day they're calling. The last son is a joker. You would like to beat him. He's worse than me. He's always asking me, he's the last son according to Africa. He got to have the PIN number of all account to give the other. So I said, oh, I'm in quarantine. Do you want the PIN number? No, I don't want that. No, poor chap. So anyway, they are far away. They keep phoning. And I miss them a lot, but yeah, we are the way the world built. There was no employment in the 60s. There was no education either. A little education in the 60s, you know. If a child had to go to overseas in Barbados to study, it's a lot of money. It's only the naive, the people with money could do that. So now in Dominica, everybody can study. That's great. That's why I love the government. I don't get anything from the government, but I get a lot to see a young child grow up, can go college free, can get scholarship free, can be a doctor without his poor father. He would never have been that if it wasn't the sort of government that paid. So when I was going to school, I could have opportunity, but money. So we learn a lot from what happened there. Hopefully we get out of it. I pray for the free who are still there to get out. And I ask Jesus to look after the staff as well, so they find strength to look after sick people. Who knows, I might end up in their hands again as a patient. And that smile, I will always give it to them. I respect them, I love them, them nurses. They deserve to be really mentioned places, them nurses in the quarantine here. I know one, we got one from La Plaine, Nurse Beaupier. I know that one. And there was one Nurse Nicole, that's a thing, she's very friendly, and one from Portsmouth, glasses, and this one I shall adopt as my daughter, because unfortunately I got no daughters.
Okay. So in all of this, you take with you that, look, your wife and yourself have gotten closer, and you're closer to your God.
And the people, and everybody. It helps me to talk. Now, I talk a lot. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to, it's my duty when I get well, to talk to problem people.
Okay.
To see if I can help the problem to be better. If I can help just 10 people who breaking away from each other to go back, I'll praise Jesus even one, but I'll praise him more. And he will give me the strength and the courage to go to people and do his work by helping people. Because even in England, a lot of people want me to be a preacher man. Since I was a boy, I was tipped to be a preacher man. Mr. Russell, I was only 14, gave me my first Bible. And I passed a lot of things in the Bible, but I wouldn't live Catholic. A devoted Catholic do not live Catholic. That's the trouble. But if I could do things to help problem people, and especially youngsters, at the moment, I always said, what we need in Dominica, we need a halfway home. A halfway home is a place where the offense is not big enough to go to prison, but it's not good enough to go back home either. The young generation, if we could get that back halfway home, I wouldn't mind voluntary. Spend a few hours work there with younger generation to make them better. There would be nothing better to see a young boy feel everything gone away from him, there's nothing left. And to spend a few moments within 6 months, a year, he's out. I'm going to buy a jeep, I'm going to learn to do this. That's what, to make the world better. And I think God will help me to do a little of this. I work very good with the younger generation in England. In the hospital, I do various work.
Have you spoken with Timothy?
Yeah, on the phone. He'll come down soon. He's just up there. So he hasn't gone back to England.
Okay.
No transport to go to England, so he's very close. They go up close with us. He's close with my children and everybody. But
no hard feelings, right?
No, he could never. It's not his fault.
How is he doing?
He's not doing bad. Last time I spoke, he was painting his father's house, because his father was there as well in the quarantine, and his mother and his girlfriend. And we got to support him as much as we can.
Okay.
And if one person has to stop the supportive, it's partly as the uncle who talk a lot. I'm a friend of everyone. I'm a friend of those who go to church, the friend of the pastor, the friend of the rum drinker, all of everybody. God made everybody, that's the way we are. So we talk a lot. So when I find time, but at the moment I haven't even looked after my plants properly. Or this, the corn shows ragged when I gone. So
Your plants look very nice.
yeah, but that's us.
Oh, that's hers. That's the wife's.
The back is
the
mine.
back is yours. All right.
Yeah, the Christophane, the banana, the plantain, the coconut, that's why. But
That's
only
a very
for
large purple.
Very large purple, yeah. This one is Maria, that tree. It broke now. After Maria, I find a little tree like this. And I told the wife, I'm taking it. If they kill it there, we leave it there. Now it's breaking. It must purple like this one grow again. Yeah, Maria. We had lots of things, before Maria. Coconut tree making coconuts, everything, avocado.
Okay.
But they're growing again.
All right.
They're growing again.
But you have not, no one has made you feel bad that, you had this thing.
No. This village has welcomed me. Since a boy, I used to come here as a little boy. And when I went in England, I spent a lot of time with them. And I come back in this village, everyone welcomed me. Because they all call me Mr. Don't ask me why they call me Mr. Gasper. So, I mean, all I do. Okay. If I want the boys to do this, they will do all, but who is going to look after it? It will go grass again. Doesn't make sense. They do a little bit at the back already where I got the dashing and that's all right. So they all look after me good. And if one thing I can do is make it better, this village, I'll try to make it better, especially if I can concentrate on this young generation here only. I'll do it because the Prime Minister will give me his backing to make them better at sport, wood carving, we can do that. Something they can sell and say, I make that, and I own that.
Okay.
Find a nice girlfriend. I say, oh, what's wrong with you all? You all sitting alone. No, you all not even interested to look for a girl, man. So this is what I'll give the village back because this village has been good to me. And of course, I find my queen.
All right. So, Mr. Gasper, you seem to be in good spirits.
Yes,
you seem to be happy.
Always.
Okay. And what do you look forward to doing in the future?
Well, it's not much in at my age. I have, like Martin Luther King said, I've been to the mountain top. I'm sliding down on the other side of the mountain. I want to learn the bottom of the mountain very light so I don't get bruised.
Thank you, Mr. Gasper.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay.
Tit.
All
Nice
right.
talking to you. Oh, sorry.
All right, then.
Get up in the morning, when I open my door, I see my flower, my belly full.
So while you were in quarantine, you were thinking about your flowers?
Yes, and I call my cousin and I tell him, if we don't do anything with the others but the imperium inside, they go wet it for me. And he do that. He do it, he look after it very good. You could see he look after them very good for me.
All right. Okay.
So that was it. And
How did you pass the time in there?
the time was good. It wasn't because I am 82 now. So I say 82 is a good age to die. So because I don't want to struggle. You know, come old to struggle. 82 is a good time to die and I never complain. I never said nothing about it. Everything was alright. And the doctors, we have 4 doctors, one coming every day. And the nurses, they were fantastic. Couldn't complain. We have a little doctor from Cuba. He was so nice too. I used to have a pain in my arm, and he tell me everything. I tell him everything. And when he finished, he said to me, the arm you have there, don't lift it up like that. If you lift it up like that, you put more strain on it. But go on the wall and bring it up, 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 and continue to do that. So feel a lot better in that.
So while you were there for COVID, you were getting other treatment?
Yeah. He was very good. He was very good. I wish I didn't know his name.
All right. Gasper didn't give you no trouble?
No, I never have trouble with him. The only trouble I have with him, he talk too much.
Yes, we are stopping that. I'm glad to show you how to stop a man talk.
Because the day when we come there, the first day we come, they put me in my room and they put him in his room. And next day they bring him.
They bring him?
Bring him in my room because every room have 2 beds. They bring him in there. I said, oh my God. And that one used to talk, and but not bad things. Not bad things. And the boys, he helped the boys a lot to cope with the sickness. Everybody, and the nurses and them, they were, cannot say nothing about them. Especially the sister, I don't really know his name, is from Pishley. She was fantastic. And another one from Marigot, I couldn't say nothing about them. One from Portsmouth, they were very good. Even the cleaner, all of them used to come there and talk to me, and we used to have a good laugh.
So, but when you found out that you had that thing, what did you think?
I didn't say nothing because I didn't feel nothing. I didn't feel not one little. The only thing I feel, it's my semaphritis I have, all the time, but I never feel nothing. Up to now, I feel nothing bad.
What would you like to tell people?
Oh, I would just like to tell the nurses and them thank you very much for their good company, and it was nice. And everybody who was phoning us, thinking about us, tell them thank you.